Good day. It is Althea from the Bible in 1 Year. Today we spend time in Matthew 27, verse 57 to 66, the significance of 3 days. In the earlier verses, we read that Jesus voluntarily gave up his human spirit and died. In Luke 23, verse 46, we read that Jesus committed his spirit into his Father's hands and then died. The Jewish custom requires that the body of the crucified person must be taken down and buried before evening, especially before the Sabbath that begins at sundown on Friday. Joseph, a good and honorable man, a disciple of Jesus who did not agree to the actions against Jesus. He was also a member of the Sanhedrin, the Jewish ruling council. This position gave him access to Pilate. He asked Pilate permission to bury Jesus. In Matthew 27, verse 57, we read that Joseph came and took the body of Jesus from the cross. Together with Nicodemus, they took a mixture of myrrh and aloes, as we read in John 19, verse 39. They wrapped the body of Jesus with the spice in a clean linen cloth and laid him in Joseph's unused tomb. In that time, they chiseled a rectangular chamber in the rock with a small, low entry. The entrance was covered with a stone that was rolled in front of the opening. This was done to protect the body from wild animals. This was prophesied by Isaiah 700 years before in Isaiah 53. His grave was assigned with the wicked, but he was with the rich man in his death, because he had done no violence, nor was there any deceit in his mouth. Yet the Lord was willing to crush him, causing him to suffer. If he would give himself as a guilt offering, an atonement for sin, he shall see his spiritual offspring. He shall prolong his days, and the good pleasure of the Lord shall succeed and prosper in his hand. As a result of the anguish of his soul, he shall see it and be satisfied. By his knowledge of what he has accomplished by a righteous one, my servant shall justify the many, making them righteous, upright with God, in right standing with him, for he shall bear the responsibility for their sin. The next day, on the Sabbath, the chief priest and Pharisee, who was against Jesus and planned the crucifixion, came to Pilate with fear in their heart. They remembered that Jesus prophesied over his own life in Matthew 20, verse 19, saying that he will be crucified and on the third day he will rise from the dead. They feared that the disciples would come and steal the body of Jesus, saying he has risen from the dead. The last fraud will be worse than the first. Pilate ordered that they must guard the tomb, making it as secure as they can. 3 days is quite significant. Firstly, because Jesus prophesied that he will be in the tomb for 3 days. Secondly, according to Jewish custom, the soul of a dead person stays with the body for 3 days. After 3 days, the person would be considered truly dead. Therefore, after 3 days, they could not argue that he was not truly dead. When they informed Jesus of the death of Lazarus, Jesus waited until the 3rd day. On the 4th day, Jesus raised Lazarus from the dead. This was considered a miracle because he was truly dead, and it was a foreshadow of the coming death and resurrection of Jesus. Thirdly, theologically a significance, because the Passover lamb was sacrificed on the Friday, and Jesus died on the Friday. Jesus stands for the death of a perfect, unblemished, sacrificial lamb on our behalf. Jesus raised from the dead on the first day of the week. This illustrates a new beginning, a new life for those who trust in him. Hosea wrote in chapter 6 in the Passion Translation, "Come, let us return to the Lord. He tore us to pieces, but He will mend our brokenness. He battered us, but He will bind up our wounds. Then, after a short time, He will restore us. We will be revived and live forever in His presence. Let us know the Lord. Let us press on to know Him. As sure as the sun rises, He will appear to us. He will come to us like the rain, like the spring rains, refreshing the earth." May you be blessed. Goodbye.